Hi guys, we're back for lesson number 2. So I hope that everyone enjoyed our first lesson, which was frogs in the past. And today we're going to focus on frog sounds. So we're going to see how we could use technology to better understand how different frogs make different sounds. So I'm sure you guys have learned about so much about frogs in your packets this week, and this probably was actually something that you guys did learn about. So I'm excited to expand on it, and I'm excited for you guys to use your prior knowledge to build on what we're going to learn about today. So if you guys didn't already know this, different frogs make different sounds. So something that I found just super cool online is that every species of frogs makes its own special sound, and only the male frog is the one that makes this sound. And then they said, do you know that there are frogs that chirp? Others can whistle, croak, ribbit, bark. I thought that was so funny. Can you imagine going outside and you think it's a dog, but it's really a frog barking? I had no idea about that. I thought that was super interesting. So what we're going to do today is we're going to see how we could use in our investigation skills. So in science, it's really important that we use our investigation questions. So for example, if I wanted to explain to someone, so say I was holding a small blue ball, and someone that couldn't see it because they weren't in person wanted to know what it looked like. And if they were trying to guess it, they would have to ask their investigating questions. So they had no idea it was a ball. They could say, well, what shape is it? And you would say round. And then they would say, what's the texture? And this ball is smooth. I'm just saying that. This ball's smooth. What color is it? Blue. What can you do with it? You could throw it. You could put it in the pool. There's a bunch of things that you could say for that. So by asking those questions, someone that didn't see it might be able to guess, oh, it's a blue smooth ball. And in science, we want to do that because we want to ask these questions to find out more about an animal or anything else in science. So I want you guys to pause the video real quick and access the link below video number 2. And when you do, just come back here. So if you weren't able to access it, I will also be playing the sounds on the video, so it's not a big deal if not. Excuse me. So we're going to, if you're on the link, the first one you're going to click on is the American toad. And I want you guys to think while you're listening to it, was the sound loud? What did it sound like? And have you heard a frog like that before? So let's click on the American toad. It is the first one on, and you're just going to press the call button. Wow. So if you were listening to it on your own time or through my video, you could hear the same exact sound. So was the sound loud? I would say it's a little loud. I definitely think if I was outside, I would have heard that. What did it sound like? I thought it just sounded like nighttime, and I think that because I think that's the frog. I think the American toad frog is probably the one that's outside my house. So that's a frog that I feel like I hear a lot. So it just reminds me of nighttime because usually they're croaking at nighttime. And it kind of was like a little high pitch, and it was like it kind of went high pitch and low pitch and high pitch and low pitch. And then the third question I want you guys to think about, which you should be also answering these in your head. So I might say it sounded loud or it sounded like nighttime, but you might not think that. So you might have a different way to describe it, which is awesome and great. So I want you to use your own describing words as well. So have you heard a frog like that before? I think I said yes, because when I said when I go out during nighttime, I feel like that's the one I probably hear. I might be wrong, though. I want to kind of see what area it's from to see if maybe that's actually the one. So now you're going to pause the video again if you have access to that link, and you're going to click on the bullfrog one, which should be the third one in the first row on the right. So you're going to click on the bullfrog, and if not, you could stay on here if you don't have access to that and listen to it. So let's listen. You're going to press call. Okay, so that definitely was different than the first one. So was the sound loud? I'm gonna say no. You might have a different answer, and that's totally fine. I'm just letting you guys know what I think. And if you want to email me after telling me what you thought about them, I would love to hear. We could have different opinions, and that is totally fine. So I didn't think it was that loud. What did it sound like? I thought it sounded like a cow. I don't know about you guys, but it really did sound like a cow. I actually couldn't believe that it was a frog. I had to double check to make sure it said frog. And then have you heard a frog like that before? I would say no, I haven't. I'm actually gonna Google where the bullfrog is from, because I really have never heard a frog like that. I haven't heard a frog like that, but I have heard a cow like that. So I thought that was kind of interesting that it made that sound. So what I'm going to do now, after you guys have thought about those questions, if you need a few seconds to pause and think about what each one sounded like, or if they were loud, or if you've heard something like that before, definitely do that. And then what I'm going to do is I want you guys to not look at that the website link, and I want you guys to listen on my screen. I'm going to play one of the sounds, and based on the questions you answered, was it loud? What did it sound like? Have you heard a frog like that before? You're going to try to tell me if it was the bullfrog, which was the last one we listened to, or the American toad frog, I believe that's called. So you're going to use your the American toad. You're going to use your clues in your head and how you used to describe it to yourself, and try to determine which one it is. So I'm not going to tell you what it is. You're going to have to guess. So I'm going to play it. So guess which one it is. Okay, so you might need to take a few seconds to pause, which is completely fine, and just maybe think about what you would have put. So, this one was the American toad. And so how I determined that, if I wasn't able to see what I chose, I would say I said that the first sound, it sounded like kind of like high pitch and low pitch, and I noticed that when I said that. I thought it was loud, and I have heard a frog like that before. So that's how I kind of distinguished it, because I also didn't know that the bullfrog was from, I never heard that before. So that's another way to easily distinguish it. So that's just kind of fun. You could play around with those, maybe have someone at your home to press a different one and guess, and just using your context clues and what you heard before to try to guess it. So it is very important when investigating, trying to determine things, to ask questions, and that's what we really want to do in science. It could help us learn about the similarities and differences between different animals. So in this case, we're able to learn the difference between two types of species of the frog, so the American frog and the bullfrog. So I challenge you guys, what we're going to do next is I want you to choose one more frog on the site that we didn't choose. So there's a bunch of them. So we obviously don't choose the American toad or the bullfrog, but there's a crawfish frog, the green tree frog, any frog on here. It doesn't matter. And you're going to answer those questions and send them to me via Google Classroom. So you would answer, the first one like we answered was the sound loud, and please let me know which one you chose, because I want to listen to it and see if I thought similar to you. So the first question was the sound loud. If you need to write these down, that's fine, just pause the video. Question number 2, what did it sound like? And number 3, have you heard a frog like that before? So, and I challenge you guys, this is just a challenge, obviously all of this is optional, but to think of 2 additional questions that you could use to investigate the different frog sounds. So obviously we had said, was the sound loud? Was it sound like? And have you heard a frog like that before? So those would just be 3 questions. So if you could think of 2 additional questions, that would be awesome. That would be helpful in us distinguishing between the 2 sounds. And then send those to me too. That's just a little challenge for you guys. And then just to review, you'll just send them to me via Google Classroom. You could choose any of the frogs that you want, and I'm very looking forward to hearing from you guys about that. And yeah, that's it for our lesson number 2 today, the frog sounds. Feel free to check out any of the other frog sounds. The website's very interesting and has some cool sounds to listen to if you're interested in that. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me and Mrs. Andretta. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.